Hi, Brian again with RecoveryPump. Today we're going to talk about our most popular recovery pump garment, which are the recovery boots, of course. The recovery boots come in a variety of sizes, and when you're selecting the system that's right for you, you're going to need to make sure you check our size guide. You can click the link below here to ensure that you've got the proper fit. Once you receive the recovery boots and your pump, you're ready to go. So what we're going to talk about in this video briefly is how to hook the boots up properly, get off and running, and then additionally we're going to talk about what separates our boot from other boots on the market. Let's take a look at the recovery boot. What I find is pretty convenient is you can use the foot compartment to store the hosing when not in use and during travel. I've just bound the hosing up like so, and then you can tuck it in and out of the foot compartment. Makes it a little bit more portable. 2 of these are what comes with your system. So when you're ready to go, you unfold, remove the hosing, and simply plug right into whatever control unit you're going to be using. This is the RP Lite. You'll hear a click. When you disconnect the boot from the pump, you need to make sure you depress these little levers here on the side. That unlocks it, allows you to take it out without having any problems. Since we've got one boot hooked up to the pump right now, we want to utilize the blocker plug. And we don't recommend treating with one boot, but sometimes that's what you need to do. Maybe you've got acute swelling or an acute injury on one side and you only want to treat with one side of the body. Or maybe you're using the recovery arm, single recovery arm. You may be a pitcher and you're trying to flush that waste product from the arm. That's when this blocker plug comes in handy. So blocker plug would go into the other port, you'll hear a click. And then you're ready to go. Turn the unit on, establish your desired pressure setting, make sure the treatment time is set, push play. That's it. You put these boots on just like you would any other pair of pants. Get into a comfortable position. You can be sitting on your couch, relaxing in a recliner, laying on the floor. Pull the boots on, zip them up, make sure they're zipped all the way, and then start your treatment. Zippers on the recovery boots are extremely durable, have been reinforced, and we do that to ensure that you can get numerous uses out of this every day. A lot of times our boots are used in a shared setting at a university program or a professional sports team, and so they're getting a lot of use, a lot of wear and tear. These boots do come with a 2-year warranty, but the zipper here has been reinforced over the previous versions of the boot. A couple other things you want to look at on this boot, again, which separate us from competitive products on the marketplace. Anytime you're looking at pneumatic compression in the lower extremity, the most important part of the boot is the sole of the foot. So you'll notice here in the boot design, there's 3 seams. This is how we've always designed our boot. There's an inflatable chamber here in the bottom of the foot that compresses directly into the sole of the foot. You're going to see other boot companies out there. Some of them have evolved since we came into the sports market, but you're going to see other boot companies out there with a flawed boot design, where there's only a seam at the top and a seam at the bottom. This means compression comes from the sides of the foot only and ends up putting the foot into kind of a weird position, which can actually restrict circulation rather than promote it, which is what we're trying to accomplish. So look for a boot that's got an inflatable chamber in the bottom. I mentioned before that some of the competition has corrected that mistake they made based upon our boot design. You're going to see that going forward. The rest of the market generally follows RecoveryPump and what we bring to the marketplace. Some of the things that they are not able to emulate are some more patented parts of the technology. So when you open up the boot and you look inside, you'll notice there are no flaps, no seams. It's just a flat surface. And this is really key because 1, it makes the boot easy to clean, but 2, it prevents anything from snagging on it. You've got student athletes or pro athletes even, or maybe even you yourself, when you're slipping in and out of these boots, you want it to be a seamless exchange. You don't want to be getting caught or snagged on any overlaps. What are those overlaps, you might ask, that you see in competitive products? Those overlaps are just the chambers in the boot overlapping. So it's important to have an overlapping chamber when performing pneumatic compression. If you don't have an overlapping chamber, what you end up with is 2 chambers that form like so, and you're going to have a peaks and valley effect of pressure. So pressures will build up in cell 1, and then when cell 2 inflates, most of the pressure will be at the apex of those inflated cells. So where those cells meet, there will be less pressure. You don't want gaps in pressure as you inflate distal to proximal. You want a consistent pressure metric and a consistent gradient. So it is really important to have those overlaps. We look at the recovery pump, and inside the boot, you don't see the overlaps. Does that mean those overlaps don't exist? Absolutely not. Take your boot, hold it up to the light, and look through it. It actually is a little bit transparent. When you hold the boot up to the light, you can see where those overlaps occur. Actually, 30% of each chamber is overlapping the next chamber. So that's important for that proper fluid movement. The thing that Recovery Pump does that nobody else does is we have that overlap happening inside the boot itself, not just inside the zipper, but these are interior overlapping chambers. Each one of these boots is handmade. So we accomplish that overlap inside the boot itself, inside the garment. This means there's no exposure, no area for bacteria to build up. Makes the boots a lot easier to clean. A lot of people have complained about other boots that end up smelling funny. That's because bacteria builds up in there, and it's difficult to get into those hard to reach nooks and crannies, if you will, and get them cleaned out. Not the case with Recovery Pump. Extremely easy to clean while delivering that specific negative gradient compression. Those are the big advantages of the Recovery Pump boot. That's a patented technology, and the boot itself, again, is nice and portable. One of the other big advantages of the Recovery Pump garments is that they deflate rather quickly. A side-by-side comparison will show that when you unplug this from the unit, this thing gets flat pretty quickly, so you're not going to have to be pushing down on the boot to evacuate the air. One of the reasons that happens is because the deflation occurs through all 4 ports on the Recovery Pump rather than through just one like competitive products. So that means a full and complete release in between compression cycles, but it also means it's more convenient for you when you're done treating. You can pack this thing up, get it back in its case, and get moving. That's it for the Recovery Pump boots today. Stay tuned for other informative videos on pretty much anything and everything Recovery Pump. Thanks for joining.